Hey, good morning from the office. I'm your host, BKP. We are North Georgia's only live online morning show. It happens once every 2 weeks. I'm having the computer freeze up issues, but we'll power through. Hold on a minute. Don't everybody get upset. Just stay with me. This won't take but a minute. Hey Amanda, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, I'm trying to kill time.
You'll get through it.
Oh, thank you for those encouraging words. Right out of the box, 8:01. We'll do a segment, encouraging words from Amanda. Up next. All right, folks, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. If you would like to reach the show at any time, that is 706-889-9700, 706-889-9700. That is our show phone. That's our 24-hour, 7 days a week, never turn it off news tip hotline right there. You can always send us a hot tip on the hotline. There you go. I like that. You can send us an email, chief@fetchernews.com. You know, I know, folks, what it says. I have a monitor across the room. Okay, if you just pick it, I have a monitor across the room. But every single day, is it me? But every day it's getting harder for me to see that far across the room. And I always like to double check because I never know if Amanda might throw me off and just put something up there. You know, it's like a Ron Burgundy moment that I'll read anything in the teleprompter.
Yeah, I'm trying to make you feel crazy.
Yes.
Every day I do something different.
Exactly. Burgundy will read anything you put in the teleprompter. You can send us an email, chief@fetchernews.com. That is chief@fetchernews.com. You can also follow us on Twitter @FetcherNews, @FYNTV. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, FYNTV, Fetcher News YouTube. And anytime we're doing a live broadcast or we upload a video, you'll get a notification. Now, today is Wednesday, just double checking, midweek. Midweek, it's Wednesday. That means Friday's just a couple days away, and we are in Blue Ridge, and we always have our segment, Ask the Doc, with Dr. William Whaley. If you would like to ask Dr. Whaley a question, you can send that to info, INFO, @fetchernews.com, info. Send that to us, and we'll get it to Dr. Whaley. Just put in the subject there, Ask the Doc, and we'll get that to Dr. Whaley for Friday's show, see if he can get to it. Now, we're going to get right into things. There's a storm brewing in the Northeast. Okay? There's a storm brewing in the Northeast. Now, I have to check, Amanda, to see if you can figure out my kind of humor. Okay? Now, in the Northeast, they're expecting a storm, and so is Donald Trump. You got that? Where's the picture? Come on. There you go. There's Stormy, right? Was it Stormy Daniels?
Stormy Daniels. Stephanie Clifford is her real name.
There's Stormy Daniels. Used to be one of Jimmy Kimmel's Juggies. No, I'm just joking. You don't know anything about that, Amanda.
Yes, I do.
You were too young to remember the Juggies.
No, that's my segment.
That's your segment?
Yeah. We've done this 2 days in a row. Going right in.
The Juggies. Okay, no, there's Donald Trump, Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, take Stormy down. Anyhow, the Northeast. Ooh, I'm glad I'm not there anymore. Right there, and could you take Stormy down? No porn stars on the show, okay? My God.
You're ridiculous.
Oh, I can't take it. I can't take that storm. Anyhow, Northeast up there, you watch the storm model going through the Lehigh Valley, 4 inches of snow per hour they're estimating in the Lehigh Valley. It's going to drop that computer model. Boy, I'm glad I'm out of there, gone. Now, I got to give a shout out. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. Yes, the globalist is gone. The globalist Gary Cohen is gone. No one is crying. I understand there's a couple rich people, the Dukes, Remember Duke and Duke and Trading Places? I know the Dukes and a couple people like that are upset this morning that the stock market looks like it's going to open down 300 points. But those of us out here in, where will we be today? Well, we'll just go ahead and be in Ellijay, Georgia. Those of us out here in Ellijay, Georgia, are just going to move right along and take the day in stride and let the people out in the Hamptons worry about the stock market this morning and the globalist Gary Cohn. We'll talk about that. Hey, you know what? Here's a good one. I'm all over the map today, okay? But pay attention, Amanda. You know, let me tell you something funny. You ready? You paying attention?
I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. When I want to tell you something funny, that would be you. There's nobody else here. Sam's not here, is she?
Yeah, she's here.
Oh, darn. Oh, my God, I can hear her all the way down the hall. Oh, I better be careful. I'm just checking. I don't want to get in trouble too many times this morning. So here's something funny, okay? So, Amanda, what have I been talking about the last couple of days with the tariffs, right? That they keep coming out, right? This is a true story. This is a true story. And I was so like, if I could come through the screen. Now, this is not a threat, Joe Scarborough, so don't go call your damn attorneys. Nobody in Georgia threatened you, okay? But I was thinking, if I could come through the screen right now, being just 14 miles south of Blue Ridge, Georgia, having family members that once worked at the factory, I would have come through that screen and I would have let him know this morning the answer to his question. For the last 2 days, Amanda, the tariffs on the EU, the big bad wolf EU, the EU strikes back. I keep thinking it's going to be like a Star Wars premiere because they keep saying the EU, the European Union, is going to strike back against Trump and his aluminum and steel tariffs, all right? So I keep thinking there's a Star Wars premiere, the EU strikes back, but they're going to strike back with tariffs on bourbon. So, I mean, if you're getting bourbon and, you know, your bourbon's $19.95, I don't know. What is bourbon these days, Amanda? I hope you don't have the answer to that. Is it sold in the fifth, a pint? I mean, what's the going measure of bourbon these days? So you get a quart of or whatever you drink of bourbon, and you know, and it's another 89 cents. I don't know. Okay, so they're going to put tariffs on bourbon, and they're going to put tariffs on our automobiles. Wow. Okay, Harley Davidson motorcycles. Boy, now that will get the Trump supporters when they find out that they're going to hurt Harley Davidson, when we already know that Harley Davidson made a commitment last year to close a plant in Kansas City to consolidate manufacturing because sales are down way before last week's announcement, okay? But they'll spin that around. And then Levi's. They are going to put a tariff on Levi jeans. Over and over and over, I keep hearing that, right, Amanda? I say, and we did the story for 2 days, right?
Yes.
This morning, Joe Scarborough says on Morning Joe, he looks and he says, they're going to put a tariff on Levi jeans. He looked out the panel and says, where do they even make Levi's? Where are Levi's made? Are they made in Texas? Are they San Francisco? Well, see, they got the logo there with San Francisco on there, and they're going to try to hurt Nancy Pelosi. Where are they even made? 3 times this bum says, where are Levi's even made? Well, Joe, you know, if you'd watched the show yesterday, we talked about 3,300 jobs. We talked about the Blue Ridge factory closing in 2002, right up the road here, Joe. Just NAFTA. Remember that thing called NAFTA, that free trade agreement with Mexico and that free trade agreement with Canada, where we just become a pass-through country for anything people want to dump here? Okay? Our manufacturing gone, 1994. Thank you very much, George H. Globalist Bush. And he passed it right along to Bill Clinton. So, anyhow, where are Levi's made? Oh, if I could have come to the screen, Amanda, this morning when he said that. We did the story, didn't we? We're always ahead of it. We're ahead
sure
of it.
Did.
We're ahead of it. Okay. So Gary Cohn, the globalist, is gone. Now, before I go too far, I've said that how many times? It's already 8:10 in the morning. I got to give a shout out, folks, because you know I love the baseball. You know that. If you don't, if you're new to the show, I love football. I love basketball. We'll get into that in a minute. I love hockey. Oh, my God, I love hockey. I just like sports, but I like my baseball. You know that. Have I told you that already? Anyhow.
Yes.
I didn't ask for an answer. I didn't. There's times you're going to have to pace yourself over there, okay? Anyhow, I know it upsets some of you. In fact, I even get messages like, oh, my God, you're wearing the blue. The Rebels last night, the Fannin Rebels, John Ayers, hats off. Got to give it to you. Coached that baby right down to the last pitch. 2-out rally. A 2-out rally. Last pitch, bottom of the 7th, 6-6 against the Dawson County Tigers. Here's the Fannin Rebels. BKP's in the booth, right? I'm in the booth. I'm all stressed out. There's men on base. Here comes Gabe Buchanan. Oh, McKaysville boy down there, right? Nice kid, all right? He's up to bat. He's a left-hander. We got men on base, 2 outs. It's 6-6, bottom of the 7th. And he drops one just with a nice tail right over the third baseman's head. Prettiest little single you ever seen. Run comes in. I'm on the microphone. Rebels win. Rebels. I mean, it was... It may be the best game of the year. I may not be able to match that game that I watched last night. So that's my shout out. And the reason I liked it is because it was coached right to the end. Coach Ayers, the kids did a great job, Coach Ayers, all right? Did a great job. Never gave up. I like that kind of high school baseball. And Coach he worked the thing all the way in. There's my shout out. Now, one more thing, okay? This is a full warning. Amanda, this is called the full warning. You cannot, this is like a storm snow emergency. We will be filling out the brackets Sunday night. What does that mean? Okay, Sunday night is the selection show. You know it, I know it, and the American people know it. It's March Madness, baby. It's the selection show Sunday night. Now, now obviously the Tar Heels will not, be a number 1 seed this year. I don't see that coming. They lost to Duke the other day by 10, like 75-65. But this is my Coca-Cola 1981-82 UNC National Championship Coke. 81-82. You weren't even born at that time, Amanda. Tar Heels season 32-2. ACC tournament champ. Okay, they beat Virginia 47-45. NCAA champion March 29th. They beat the Georgia Dome. Is that a Ewing? Is this UNC 63, Georgetown 62? Is that Patrick Ewing, Michael Jordan? Could I be right? Basketball, baby. It starts next week. I will have next Thursday. I will have like 5 screens going. I'll be watching the games. I got to get moved on. So I'm just warning you for the next 3 weeks, Amanda. You're going to hear a lot about basketball. I know you don't care. The only time you care is if you're at the game and you have a beer in each hand.
Hey, don't tell people that.
I didn't tell people that. I'm just saying. I mean, I didn't tell people that. That wasn't.
You just told the internet.
Did I?
Yeah.
I said that. I said that. I was just making a statement.
It is true. Me at a Braves game, me at a Falcons game, gotta have 2 beers in my hand to stay focused.
Don't tell people that.
You just told people that.
Well, I was just saying it. Now you have validated it. That's a country music song. Braves game, 2 beers in my hand. I mean, who's writing that tune? Okay. Yesterday, is it Sweden? The President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, held a press conference. Now, once again, we have a White House in disarray, a White House in confusion. All the above. That's all they keep talking about. Now, Gary Cohen, put a picture up of Gary Cohen, all right? He cannot take, you have two there. He could not take the tariffs on steel and tariffs on aluminum. Now, folks, don't worry about what the stock market opens at this morning, all right? Don't worry. Goldman Sachs is at him. Where's Gary Cohen? I said two pictures. I said one and I said two. There you go. Put your beard down and put the pictures up, all right? Anyhow, there he is. He's the globalist Goldman Sachs guy. Cannot go along with the tariffs. And he's leaving. I'm out of here. I have had enough, this guy says. He's out, all right? And Trump is not backing down on the tariffs. Now, let me just say this, okay? If you're following the nightly news, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, okay, CNN, they're sending full teams of journalists, I use that word loosely, to foreign countries. Where did they send them? To find prostitutes or sexual coaches that may have been in a plane that heard something that may have something to do with the Trump campaign and Russian collusion. Right, Amanda?
Right.
They will send that, okay? But they will not tell you. They will do an opening story at night, nightly news, on Stormy Daniels, a washed up, used up, rolled up.
Be nice.
Did you say be nice to this porn star? Did you really say that? I mean, I have an earpiece, but that was be nice. That was two words, be nice.
I was referring, just don't cuss on air, but.
Oh, okay. You recognize this could be going in the wrong direction? That's what you thought. Okay.
Yes.
All right. You just really, it's not
you can continue.
It's not be nice to Stormy Day, right?
Right. You can continue.
Okay, so they'll run Stormy Daniels. Is going to sue the president because he didn't sign the document on the hush money to keep her quiet. But they will not run Gary Cohen. They will not run the stories on how many weeks now, how many months has Trump said they better come to the table on NAFTA, all right? Now, Gary Cohen and the media would leave you to believe that there was an Oval Office White House meeting the other day, a meeting in the White House, the Oval Office, however you want to put it. They want to lead you to believe that happened the other day, and Cohen just said, hey, I can't take this steel, aluminum tariff, and I'm out of here. I just don't think it'll work. That's not exactly what happened. Okay? This guy, we know who he is. We've known who Cohen is from the day he came into the West Wing. He's a globalist. Period. And Trump is not going to bend on his campaign promises. Donald J. Trump promised you, the American worker, you, the American people, that this dumping on America was over. Raw products, steel, aluminum, is over. This NAFTA of the way we're taking advantage of, and we actually sent Levi's to Mexico. Joe Scarborough, just for your information, Levi's went to Mexico. It's over. The guy's keeping his word to, Larry out in Indiana or Julie out in Kansas. That's who he's keeping his word to, not Gary Cohen. Last week, everybody got up in arms because Donald Trump said, hey, he looked around the table. He said, you guys are scared to death of the NRA. You guys are shaking in your boots. The NRA says, boo. You guys like jump from behind a door. I'm not afraid of them. Donald Trump has a great relationship with the NRA, but he's not walking around this morning in fear of them like the others down through there that have to go home and get elected and are actually scared to death of the NRA. The point being is Trump has told this guy and told everybody for months on end that the new NAFTA negotiations have started, and they would. Canada, he has told Canada, the little French guy up there, whatever his name is, up in Canada, he's told him, and he's told the Mexican president, NAFTA, it's over. Renegotiate or it's over. Period. So Cohen is out, and the media is all concerned about somebody else leaving the White House. I am not, folks. I am not one bit concerned that Gary Cohen is leaving, because I'm going to give you, six particular reasons, and this does come from a Breitbart article. I've been all around the internet, but internet's running slow. If this jumps up here in a minute, I will read that to you. Also, Joe Manchin, West Virginia, loves to steal tariffs, okay? Senator from West Virginia, Joe Manchin, loves talking the tariffs on steel and aluminum. Working people in West Virginia. 6-time globalist Gary Cohen tried to derail Trump's America First agenda, all right? Number one, Gary Cohen's war on coal. You can read that. Gary Cohen's attempt to soften Trump's actions against China. Okay? Cohen did not want the tough talk on China. Okay? Did not want it. You remember Donald Trump stood right in China, right on their soil and said, hey, the trade deficit, the trade imbalance is over. It's not going to happen. I mean, people act like this just took place this past week. No, Trump went to China and told them. You act like, the media acts like Seoul, South Korea just figured out this week. No, Trump went to South Korea a long time ago, and he sat down with them. All right, this is not new to the world. They knew Trump was coming with this, and the day of taking advantage. I mean, you know, there's an old saying, it was good while it lasted, and that's what the world is saying. Hey, this was good while it lasted. Gary Cohen's attempt to soften the actions on China, Gary Cohen's failed effort to keep the U.S. and the Paris Climate Agreement. Cohen wanted to put Cohen's picture back up. Who the hell told you to take it down? Cohen, the globalist, right there he is. He was instrumental in pushing Trump to stay in the Paris Climate Agreement. He also, he was upset with Trump. Cohen was upset with Trump because he wanted to stay in the Trans-Pacific Partnership. He did not want to be pulled out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And Gary Cohen's last failed attempt to stop Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs, he is out. Okay, we're going to talk about that. President held a news conference yesterday, and we are going to play several of those clips. They're very important. Seattle, I don't know if you've read this story. Seattle, somebody had their gun taken without a warrant. It's a true story. We hope this morning, Amanda, I hope that you just don't get it. Take Cohen's picture down. I mean, do you not realize this story's over?
You're ridiculous.
I'm ridiculous? Really? Whoa. I'm ridiculous. Anyhow, that wasn't nice. I mean, you told me to be nice earlier. It just right out of the box.
Up, down, up, down.
Okay, listen to this, Amanda. My hope is that you don't look a little strange this afternoon standing around somewhere. My hope. This is a true story, folks. Seattle police begin Nazi-style gun confiscation. No laws broken. There was no warrant. There was no charges. It's in Seattle. A man in Seattle has had his gun confiscated by police after breaking no laws. The police took his gun without a warrant and without pressing any charges. Okay? The neighbors complained that the man had been staring at people through a storefront windows while wearing a holstered firearm. He was window shopping, all right? He was not brandishing, however, showing his weapon by any account, and open carry is legal in the area. So he was abiding by the law. Other residents also complained that the man's open carry made them feel uncomfortable and unsafe. They took his gun, said he looked a little strange. Just saying. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. We're going to come back. We're going to play Donald Trump's press conference yesterday. You want to stay for this. Everybody wants to work in the White House, Trump said. Everybody wants to work there. While the media is reporting that the rats are fleeing the sinking ship, Trump says everybody wants to work there. And today at 9 o'clock, we're going to have tax tips with Beth Bennett. Beth Bennett's going to be in. That's always an interesting conversation concerning taxes and preparing your taxes. Tax benefits with Beth Bennett, H&R Block at 9 o'clock. Take us to break, Amanda.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia, LJ, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East LJ. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Medium Pizza Hut pizzas, just $5.99 each.
Did they say Pizza Hut?
For $5.99?
Yes.
And yes.
Yes! Introducing the deal you want on the pizza you crave. 2 medium pizzas, just $5.99 each. No one out pizzas the hot.
Stop.
Hey, good
Stop
morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. That was funny. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. Now, Gary Cohen is out. Gary Cohen is out. You know who I think should get the chief economic? I think the chief economic advisor position. You know who I think should get it? Stormy Daniels. Stormy.
Stop it.
I can't help it. All right. Anyhow, President Donald Trump. We will be making a decision. These are tweets as of 12 hours ago from President Donald J. Trump. We'll be making decisions soon on the appointment of new chief economic advisor. Many people want the job. We'll choose wisely. Now, another thing I want to go over with the tariffs, okay? We're going to stick on this just for a minute because, I mean, the media out there would want you to believe that the 25% on steel tariff, and I'm not telling you I believe in tariffs, okay? I'm not telling you that, but, okay? I started life in the end, I guess, close to the end here of the heydays of factories, where factories were booming. And I went through the 70s where, you know, we had the environmentalists. I lived right through the 70s where the environmentalists went, and they were the first move to destroy manufacturing, okay? I mean, I remember, and I'm not getting sidetracked, folks, but what I want you to, the reason I'm talking about this is the media would want you to believe that you should be in fear of driving to your job this morning because what Trump has done concerning manufacturing regulations, cutting regulations, import tariffs, and stopping the fleecing of America, okay? Now, the media would just have you in fear that you might as well stay home today because there's no use to live with Donald Trump in the White House. But I remember all too well the nightly news stories with smokestacks. Now, for some of you children's out there, okay, you don't remember it, okay? This is something Amanda, Sam have no idea. They have no idea about watching the commercials from the environmentalists for clean water and clean air with the smokestacks and smoke billowing out of these big factories. And the nightly news, how we put a stop and we ended thousands of jobs today in Cincinnati, or we ended Toledo. We have closed Toledo down, Ohio, completely almost, by putting these smokestacks that are filling our air, whatever, okay? So we lived through that in the 70s. The environmentalists did everything they could to shut all the manufacturing down. And then the globalists, they kicked phase 2 or phase 3 in. They've been doing this for years, you know, and they come up with NAFTA, okay? We'll just go there. Now, this is not playing in America. Cohen leaving, nobody's upset. I mean, you just can't find anybody that's wondering where to go get their Kansas City barbecue today because Gary Cohen is back in the Hamptons and he's no longer Trump's senior economic advisor. But 2 hours ago, the President of the United States tweeted out, okay, From Bush 1 to present, George H., okay, to present, our country has lost more than 55,000 factories, 6 million manufacturing jobs, an accumulated trade deficit of more than $12 trillion. Last year, we had a trade deficit of almost $800 billion. Bad policies and leadership must win again. I'm serious. Now, here's what I like, is the guy will go from, he did not say, George H. Bush, he's a Republican. We better tamper down what you say because he's a Republican. You better tamper down because George H. is like 96. He could go at any minute. Won't you feel bad if something happens to George H. in 2 or 3 days with his multicolored socks that he wears, and you have tweeted out something that has George H. as responsible? Trump doesn't care. He's talking to the American people. George H. Bush, how many times have I told you this, Amanda? George H. Bush had NAFTA sitting on the desk for William Jefferson Clinton. Bill got there to the Oval Office and he said, what's this on my desk? What is this? Hey, do I have to sign this thing that George H. left here? Because I'll sign it because I need to move along. Hey, what's that girl's name? That Monica girl. I think she was kind of cute, don't you? I just channeling my Bill Clinton. Was that okay?
That was really good.
All right. NAFTA. I almost said something. So anyhow, let me get back on track here. Trump calls out George Bush 1, 55,000 factories, which you and I know of many of them, the textile industry, okay, South Carolina, all through the South, the textile industry, okay, manufacturing jobs, trade deficits. We know that, okay? Now, what you're going to hear also is that George W. Bush tried this in 2002 and it didn't work. Research why it didn't work. Research. The globalist one. It's not a matter that it did not work. And I can't go into a full-blown show of understanding how the Chinese have dumped steel in here to where there's no way, it's virtually almost impossible to have a steel mill. Check out Weirton, West Virginia. Oh, wait a minute. Weirton, West Virginia, okay? Up there next to Wheeling, West Virginia. All right? Now, Weirton, West Virginia has a Coke plant. And I don't mean Coke as in, but Weirton, West Virginia has a Coke plant. Now, back in the 50s, Wheeling, West Virginia used to be a major hub for country music, all right? Now, I'm just saying. Weirton, West Virginia, why do you think Joe Manchin, a still Coke plant? I can't go in. You need to look that up, what that is. In Weirton, West Virginia. They closed this country down. All right? So the tweet storm is out by the president. Okay? Bad policies, leadership must win again here on trade. Cohen is out. We're not worried about that. Let's go to the video, and we're going to play a little video, and this is the questions on trade yesterday. Do you have the times? Okay, play the President of the United States. So you're going to do it today or tomorrow or Friday? What day are you going to do this?
Thank you very much. John? Thank you, Mr. President. You spoke about North Korea in the Oval Office, so I'd like to turn to trade.
So much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. John?
Sorry, folks, about the technical difficulty trying to figure out why the volume is not properly working on that video. So we'll come back to that in just a moment. I want to throw in here before we go too far this morning, Thad Cochran, okay? Thad Cochran, Senator Thad Cochran from Mississippi, while they're trying to work on that. You have a picture of Thad Cochran, if you can put that up for me. And I appreciate it. You know, sometimes the videos don't come up and play like they should. That's a Mississippi senator. Now, many of you remember, Thad is 80 years old. Okay? Yes, Thad Cochran is 80 years old. He has suffered a lot of illness here in the last couple years, but many knew this when he got reelected. All right? Many knew this when he got reelected. Thad Cochran is resigning, and this will give the Republican governor in Mississippi an opportunity to appoint the next senator. All right, this is becoming, watch and see how this works, because what is happening here is, if you will look at the age of the senators, and start with Dianne Feinstein, which is 84. If reelected, would finish her term at 90. Okay? And you look at Thad Cochran, and you look at Grassley, Chuck Grassley. All of these senators, they feel they own the seats. Not you. Okay? Not the state. Not the voters. And the power they do not want to relinquish. Okay, wait just a second. Let me finish my Thad Cochran now that I have it. All right, the power they do not want to relinquish. This guy is leaving. The Chamber of Commerce piled big money into him. Okay, remember that last race? This guy should have been gone, should not have returned to Washington, D.C. The establishment, Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, they piled big money into this guy to reelect him, knowing he would resign. Why do they do that? Because it's really simple. You're going to start seeing, one right after another, senators retire and the governors appoint their replacement. Same thing they do with judges 7 days a week. Okay? Senators, they're going to be appoint the new one. What Cochran's resignation means for Mississippi in the Senate after serving 40 years, okay? In the U.S. Senate, Senator Thad Cochran, Republican of Mississippi, announced Wednesday that he will resign effective April 1st because of health issues. His decision means both Mississippi Senate seats are in play for 2018 midterm. The state's primary is slated for June 5th, okay? The primary doesn't go off till June 5th. But with Cochran leaving Capitol Hill early, here's a look at what happens to his seat. With a vacant Senate seat, it's up to Governor Phil Bryant to appoint and replace within 10 days after receiving official notice of the vacancy. That creates a new incumbent, okay? That creates a new incumbent that'll already be seated and already sworn in, and they try to keep the power. That's my opinion. Now, the one I want to leave with before we go back to talking about trade with the President of the United States, Thad Cochran is leaving in Mississippi. All right? Pull up Johnny Isakson in Georgia. Now, I've had to revise this prediction multiple times. I've had to adjust this multiple times. I had to adjust who I felt would be the successor several times. Okay? I've had to. But the pieces of the puzzle and tuning in, things are becoming much clearer with Johnny Isakson. And Johnny Isakson still, I believe in Georgia, will retire. I believe he will retire. And let's say, I don't know how things work in Georgia, but this is my prediction. Governor Nathan Deal is leaving this year, and Governor Nathan Deal wants to have as much effect on Georgia as he possibly can. Governor Nathan Deal has affected the courts. It is an effect on the court for years in Georgia. He has stacked the courts, expanded the courts, and put as many people in the court system in Georgia he wants. Seriously, okay? He will appoint the next senator. Watch. Now, I don't know how things work, but the next senator, this is as far as I'm going to go, of the state of Georgia will either be appointed by Nathan Deal, because this is his last year, after the May primary or November. But that's my prediction. That's my prediction. He's next. Okay, are we ready with the video? Are we ready?
Ready.
Okay, tariffs. Trump talking about trade. Let's go to the video.
Thank you very much. John?
Thank you, Mr. President. You spoke about North Korea in the Oval Office, so I'd like to turn to trade, if I could. My understanding is that the Prime Minister came to you with a message from the European Union Commission President saying, if you put tariffs on steel and aluminum, we'll slap you back with punitive tariffs on bourbon and jeans and the motorcycles that you talk about from Wisconsin. Are you still planning on going ahead with these tariffs? There are some people in your party who have suggested it's not a good idea. And Prime Minister Levine, what's your...
Twice that video does not want to run audio, folks, so we apologize for that. Twice our system did not want to run the audio with that video. So, and we're going to have tax tips with Beth Bennett at 9 o'clock. So what we'll do is we'll get that ready for about 9:20, okay? So we'll just get it ready for about 9:20. I do not know why.
Of Sweden.
I have volume here. I have volume on, so I don't know why. We apologize for that. We are going to get that to play today. We're going to figure out how, because you have to hear what the president is talking about. Now, let's go quickly before we wrap up our first hour of the morning. Yes, Stormy Daniels filed a lawsuit against the president, just so people know. All right, put her picture up. Adult film star Stormy Daniels has filed a civil suit against President Trump in an effort to avoid a non-disclosure agreement between the two. Daniels, whose legal name is Stephanie Clifford, claims in her suit filed Tuesday that the non-disclosure agreement is not valid because Trump never signed the deal. Okay. So, you know, she wants Trump to sign the deal. So let me ask you a question. She's suing it's not valid because Trump didn't sign the deal and it's a non-disclosure. So that ship has sailed, right? And the disclosure is the disclosure now. It's out. All right? We knew this was coming, folks, right? We all knew this was coming. Parkland, put up Anthony's tweet. What was that spin? Well, why not? Well, we got to figure that out. That has to be figured out. I mean, I have to be able to hear it. And I have that. Everybody is telling me also that the video has audio. But okay, all right. I have to hear the video with the audience, so like I normally do. So we'll just wait for that. The other one, we knew this was coming. Put up Anthony's tweet. I got a tweet there called Anthony. Okay. I don't know if you can see this on the screen. Sorry about that. There it is. That is our sheriff there. Your sheriff, my sheriff, Deborah Wasserman Schultz's sheriff. That's not America's sheriff right there, but that is it's Israel, right? That's his name. Sheriff Israel down there at Broward County. And this tweet comes from ABC News. Parkland victim Anthony Borges plans to sue Florida school district claiming high school and security guard failed to protect students. Okay, so you know what Broward County and Broward County's school system is getting ready to pay out, and this guy Israel, is it Scott Israel, Sheriff Scott Israel in Broward County, Florida, has the nerve to say he's not going to retire. All right, not going to retire. So I don't know, but Amanda, don't I usually can hear the video too. So we can work on that and see, because I can usually hear it at the same time as the audience. There's a couple things that the president said that I listened to in there this morning that I want to, recap on. So whenever we'll try that again after. Oh, you want to try it again? Okay, we'll take this tweet down. Let's do that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. John?
Thank you, Mr. President. You spoke about North Korea in the Oval Office, so I'd like to turn to trade, if I could. My understanding is that the Prime Minister came to you with a message from the European Union Commission President saying, if you put tariffs on steel and aluminum, we'll slap you back with punitive tariffs on bourbon and jeans and the motorcycles that you talk about from Wisconsin. Are you still planning on going ahead with these tariffs? There are some people in your party who have suggested it's not a good idea. And Prime Minister Levine, what's your perspective on tariffs, and what message did you convey to the President from Sweden and from the European Union? Thank you.
Well, the United States has been taken advantage of by other countries, both friendly and not so friendly, for many, many decades. And we have a trade deficit of $800 billion a year. And that's not going to happen with me. We have been mistreated by many, sometimes fairly, but there are really very few instances where that's taken place. And I don't blame the countries. I blame our leadership for allowing it to happen. When I was with President Xi in China, as an example, we lose 5.
Okay, folks, the president is talking about trade there. He's talking about how we've been taken advantage of. And so we're not going to be able to go into great detail. I want to go into a lot more on that video. I want to go into a lot more on that video and the trade, because here's what I think, folks. I think you should hear it straight from the president. I am tired of the media chopping the president's words up, okay? Now, the one thing, there's a special election in Pennsylvania. I want to bring this up because we're getting ready to go to break.
We're going to Stormy Daniels suing President Trump.
We're getting ready to go to break. So Joe Scarborough claims that Trump will pull back on tariffs after PA's special election. So Joe Scarborough of Morning Joe is claiming that the President of the United States, okay, is using the special election in Pennsylvania, in Western Pennsylvania, trying to appeal to steel workers and manufacturers and the union workers out in Western Pennsylvania for the special election next Tuesday in PA. Joe Scarborough claims that after that special election, they will then pull back on the tariffs. And that's the claim. Let's put it like this. I want to clear this up. If the president pulls back on the tariffs within the next 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, all right, it will be because of renegotiations on NAFTA, not the special election. You know, they're not giving Trump any credit whatsoever for the diplomatic relationship that's happening right now, possibly taking place in North Korea. The discussions. Zero credit whatsoever. Okay? The media is saying that the North Korea and South Korea talking is in spite of, has no direct Trump, in spite of what Trump's done, they're talking. They're giving him no credit whatsoever. You will have some wacko at CNN actually associate somewhere, I wish we could find it because it's going to happen, that Kim Jong-il or whatever his name is, sister going to the Olympics, and the Korean women's hockey team, the unified hockey team, some crazy person on, I'm going to call CNN, will give credit to the women's Korean hockey team and the dictator's sister attending the Olympics over Trump standing up. They're afraid of Donald Trump. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. When we come back, we're going to talk tax tips with H&R Block Beth Bennett. And then we're going to come back and talk about the trade and how Donald Trump says everybody wants to work in the White House. I'm your host, BKP. Take us to break.
I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I'll tell you something. This could be love because I've had the time of my life.
The Tupelo Tea Mission is to provide over 80 premium tea blends for tea lovers who are looking for ways to explore new flavors and blends. Come visit Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Be sure to sample our various varieties of honey and tea. Visit us on the web at tupelotea.com or call us at 706-946-TEAS. That's TEAS. Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Better days ahead. It's just this simple. Nobody beats Days on price. If it's a Chevy, you'll pay less at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save $4,000 off a new 2018 Chevy Malibu, or save up to $10,000 off a new 2018 Silverado Crew Cab. It doesn't matter which Chevy you choose. Nobody beats Days on price. $10,000 off Silverados and $4,000 off Malibus at Days Chevy in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Today, huh?
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and it's time for H&R Block Tax Tips with Beth Bennett. Beth, how are you?
I'm good, Brian. How are you today?
Are they laughing at us in there?
I think so.
What did we do?
Dang young people.
Those darn kids, huh? So anyhow, Beth, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, because obviously this is the busy time of the year, and there are some deadlines we're going to talk about that we want to make sure people are aware of that are right around the corner. Tax filing deadlines. Most people think about April, but that's not the only deadline they have to be concerned about. So what are some of the deadlines and some of the things that maybe people are not paying a close enough attention to that they need to?
So March 15th is next week, and that is the filing deadline for S corporations. And last year it changed. That also made it due for partnerships. So next week is your deadline. So get in, see your tax professional, get your corporation filed, get your partnership filed, so you can get your personal return filed. And that's due on April 17th this year. Again, there's that. April 15th falls on Sunday. Monday's a holiday in Washington, D.C., and so that bumps us to the 17th. So got a couple extra days again this year.
Tax day is actually April 17th this year.
Correct. April 17th this year. So you get 2 extra days. So we're not excited about that. That makes our work year, 118 days instead of 116. It's a really long work year. Okay,
now I have a question for you. They come out, politicians, elected officials come out after they have done tax reform, and they make big announcements, and it sounds this way, that way, and then it hits your desk, and the people come in and want their taxes prepared, and that's where reality, and you have to clarify many things that come from a podium in 5 or 10 minutes. Here's a new one. I want to put this out here. state tax income.
I know. I'm so excited about that.
Okay.
That's what this is. This is House Bill 918.
You brought that?
I was just really impressed that it took this many pages to tell us 3 things.
That many pages to tell us 3 things. Because let me set this up, folks. The state of Georgia, a lot of states this year where taxes are concerned, your personal taxes, corporate taxes, not property taxes, but corporate and personal taxes, a lot of state legislative sessions are looking at some adjustments because of the federal tax reform.
Remember when I was here in January, I told everybody, please make sure you go see a professional this year because if you're itemized on your federal, it's going to be catastrophic on your Georgia. Well, so our House went to work. Thank you to Speaker Ralston. And we got some tax law changes. Let me give you some of these dates because I found this so interesting. So the last tax change in Georgia was in 1986 on just regular, anything to do with taxes. The standard deduction hasn't changed since 1981, and that changed this year. Corporate tax has not changed, and there's still not a change since 1969, and an individual since 1937. So we've been paying with no consideration to inflation or income changes. The same tax laws have been in place for all those years. That just blew my mind. I was like, how does that even work? So, super excited because Georgia, and that passed on March the 2nd, the governor signed it on March the 2nd, that they'll double the standard deduction for Georgia. So if you're a married filing joint, it went from $3,000 to $6,000. So that's a big help because remember we talked about most people that file and itemize on their federal, they were getting like $15,000, $20,000, and that carried to your Georgia, where your Georgia was only $3,000. So that was a huge difference, right? You're going to pay tax on that additional income. So now a little bit of relief there, and they're also changing the individual tax from 6% to 5.25% for those in the highest tax bracket. So there's several breakdowns of the tax bracket, and the most people fall because that income is over $10,000. Is where the 6% is. So most people fall in the 6%.
When you talk about, and this is where I get lost myself when discussing the tax bills, is the obviously a tax break from a percentage standpoint is obviously if you go from 6 and you go backward, that's
a quarter.
Yeah, that's backward something.
Yes.
But the standard deduction, is that the big takeaway here? Is doubling that? Is that the?
Yeah, it's again that relieves $3,000 more of your dollars from being taxed that was gonna, and then you add the 0.25% to it, so it all adds up. It's just chipping away at your bottom line of what your tax liability will be.
Now, is that anything that affects this year? Is that affect?
Nope, everything's going
everything.
Forward.
All right, so
because the federal laws don't take effect till next year. And so neither will these. It'd be really hard because you'd have to go backwards because lots of people have already filed. Probably 60 or 70% of Americans have already filed.
Well, I asked that because, there's the way it's presented through the media sometimes. The impression of what took place with state tax reform, what took place with the national tax reform. We have to be clear that everything they are hearing goes in effect next year.
Next year. Everything is next year. Except for a couple.
But now we've talked about not just the need for H&R Block and Beth Bennett in your office to file taxes. We've talked about the need to get counseling on how to prepare for next year.
Yes, because there's so many
we're already
changes.
up into March, and if you're doing things where receipts are concerned or different investments are concerned, you can be going down the wrong road. And now with the state, next year you can have trouble.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So please see someone, let them review it. Again, our offices don't charge for a consultation. You can come in, we can plug your numbers in. Our system has this wonderful new tool that I'm super excited about that compares this year and then applies next year's tax laws and show you where you'll be next year.
Has H&R Block already sent down to you information breakdown on the state tax?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
That's still in the works on the state?
Yeah.
But you will give somebody a consultation on preparing for next year, what they need to do now if they come in to see you?
Absolutely.
What are some of the other points that we need to make sure that our viewers know about?
Well, I've got a couple of changes since we've talked the last time, and clarifications keep coming down.
That's why we keep bringing you back.
Thank you.
That's why you keeps
me in business, right?
Don't tell everything
Job
on the
security.
first. Yeah. So a couple changes since the last time you've been here.
So originally, medical was supposed to go up from 7.5% to 10%. And that changed in mid-February, so now it's back to 7.5%. So if you had enough medical at 7.5% but not at 10%, come back in, we can amend that return and get that filed and hopefully save you some money. PMI, mortgage insurance, that is now allowed back on your tax return. That went away this year. And again, mid-February, they said, okay, you can have it back. So those can go on there. So if you've got a mortgage and you've got mortgage insurance and you already filed, bring that information back into us. We'll amend that and get you that extra.
So if you filed before what date? Let's say it was somewhere in February.
I want to say February 21st.
All right. So if you filed before February 21st and you have mortgage insurance, that was not on your return.
Correct. That had went away with the tax.
And then you guys, I call it a note. You guys got notification that it can be on there now.
Yes.
So what you're saying is anywhere you've done your taxes. Especially here at H&R Block with Beth Bennett, anywhere you've done your taxes, you go back in and they should amend that for you.
Yes, and allow you to claim that credit. So that's a big change. Another one is, and I have to make sure I tell at the chamber lunch tomorrow, a lady asked me several times, well, can't you use your home equity line of credit interest? And I said, no, everything we have says no. And she's like, well, I read somewhere, remember we talked about that depending where you get your information from, it's all conflicting, right? Whatever media source you're listening to, they put their spin and that's where it goes. But there's now clarification for the home equity line of credit. You can take that interest, but it's very specific now. In the old rules, you could take a home equity line of credit on your house and buy a new car, pay for your kids' college or a wedding or pay off credit card debt, right? And you could still take that interest on your tax return till last year. Effective December 15th of 2017, they said no longer available. Now they're saying you can take your home equity line of credit interest, but very specific rules. It can only be to acquire, to build, or to substantially improve your current home.
So they narrowed it down specifically for what it is, because years ago, if you could get a $100,000 home equity loan, that's how some people would buy their car, or that's how
start a business,
whatever. So but because that interest, because it was home equity, that interest was deductible. But if you have a home equity loan now where you've built the addition or whatever, and it's specific to that project or whatever, you can deduct that.
You now can deduct that if it was used to acquire a home, build a home, or do some remodeling, renovations, add on. But it has to be all about a house. It can't be anything other than on your home.
Okay, so you can't go get the home equity loan and take those trips anymore and then deduct the interest.
When I was trying to buy another building, that's what all the bankers said. Just do a home equity line of credit. Do a home equity line of credit. That's what all the bankers wanted you to do.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess that's less paperwork. I don't know.
No, I remember several years ago the push for the home equity loan. What else do we have this morning that we need to make sure, because it is getting down to that time. We're in March. You've only got to March 15th is the corporate.
March 15th is corporate
deadlines, and you got till April 17th this year. But we want to make sure we cover everything at any other points that you wanted to make sure we made this morning.
Phone scams are running rampant. Don't fall for those. They're called, that the IRS phone scams. You owe us. Go get a green dot card and send it directly to us. The IRS is never going to call you and tell you that you owe them money and that you must pay it right now. It's just not going to happen. Okay? You're going to get letters. Letters is how they communicate. Unless you're already working with someone and then you've established a line of communication with them through email or phone, that you've got an assigned agent, but just randomly, they're not going to call you and require you to pay right now. They're not going to come and arrest you. None of that is true. I even had a friend the other day husband's got the phone call about missing jury duty here in Gilmer County.
Yes.
So that's another one. I mean, and they prey on the elderly and people who are just scared. You know, they're very intimidating and
you know, folks, Beth, I'm glad you brought that up. Phone scams, and they're very bad. Phone scams, especially the one that Beth is talking about, you probably get clients in your line of work that say, the IRS called me. The IRS is not going to call you. You're not going to pick up the phone and say, hey, this is so-and-so, John over here at the IRS, and our records show that you owe $622, and we can actually take 10% off that if you can pay that now over the phone. Not going to happen. You will have, in fact, if you got, and you know, I've been in business for years, so I've gotten statements and I've gotten notices from the IRS. All business people have experienced things of that nature. And you get something, even as an individual, if you owe a tax, you will get a letter. The letter will have the period on it. Okay, it'll have the quarter, the period, and the tax due, right?
Yes.
So don't fall for the phone scam.
Don't fall for the phone scams. They're terrible.
All right, you guys, quit making those phone calls in there. No,
is that what they do?
Was that a bad joke? That's a bad joke.
Sam would never do such a thing.
No, Sam would never do something like that. Never.
We do have an H&R Block right now, a half-off promotion going on. If you didn't use us last year, come to us this year, you can pay half of what you paid last year. Just got to bring in last year's tax return and your receipt, and we'll give you a nice little discount to sample our service. And
half off.
Half off.
Half off. So if you bring your tax return in from last year and the receipt, whatever, we'll take half of that right off and do your taxes.
Yep.
How many locations do you have?
We have 3 locations here in LJ. We got Highlands Crossing up by Walmart, Craig Street between Pools Barbecue and the drugstore, and River Street in downtown.
And your hours?
Whatever you need us to be.
I like that. That's the test. I was good at the test. Don't forget, you got a phone number?
770. I was giving my cell phone number. 706-635-5538, 706-635-5563, and 706-636-1099.
Folks, you can find Beth Bennett, H&R Block, at 3 locations here in Gilmer County. But I want to tell you, just like she said, it's tax season, and if you have to work and you have odd schedule out there, and you can't make it during what the sign on the door says, the regular hours, get in touch with them. They will meet with you, and you make sure you accommodate everyone that calls, don't you?
Absolutely.
All right, Beth, thank you very much. Thank you for that great information. Don't forget, if you filed your taxes already and you have mortgage insurance and you were told it was not, you could not put that on your tax return this year, they came out and said, yes, you can. So that is a change that has taken place. You need to go back and get that mortgage insurance. They will amend the return. Corporate tax is 15th. You have to be filed by the 15th. April 17th is tax day, right?
Yes, sir.
The standard deductions have doubled in the state of Georgia, right?
Yes.
So did I pay attention?
Did good. Passed the test.
Beth Bennett, H&R Block Tax Tips. And you can share this with your friends. We always post this on our FYN TV Fetch Your News YouTube channel. Please share this with your friends. It's great information. Go see Beth Bennett, H&R Block today to have your taxes done. Hey, maybe half off. Take your receipt and last year's return. Good?
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome. Take us a break.
Had the time of my life. I never felt like this before. I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I'll tell you something. me, 'cause I've had the time of my life. I've never felt like this before, 'cause I've had the time of my life.
The Tupelo Tea mission is to provide over 80 premium tea blends for tea lovers who are looking for ways to explore new flavors and blends. Come visit Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Be sure to sample our various varieties of honey and tea. Visit us on the web at tupelotea.com or call us at 706-946-TEAS. That's TEAS. Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart.
And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart.
It's just this simple. Nobody beats Days on price. If it's a Chevy, you'll pay less at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save $4,000 off a new 2018 Chevy Malibu, or save up to $10,000 off a new 2018 Silverado Crew Cab. It doesn't matter which Chevy you choose. Nobody beats Days on price. $10,000 off Silverados and $4,000 off Malibus at Days Chevy in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. That was a great segment with Beth Bennett, Tax Tips, H&R Block, Beth Bennett. Now, we're going to go back, and I'm sorry for the confusion earlier that my pauses. I guess I'll take the heat on this one, okay? Because I can feel the heat all around me. The heat is on, right? Yes, that's exactly right. So, yesterday let's go to the video, and we're talking about trade, okay? And let's go ahead and go to that video and start there at 8:12, and I'll tell you where to stop, okay?
Thank you, Mr. President. You spoke about North Korea in the Oval Office, so I'd like to turn to trade, if I could. My understanding is that the Prime Minister came to you with a message from the European Union Commission President saying, if you put tariffs on steel and aluminum, we'll slap you back with punitive tariffs on bourbon and jeans and the motorcycles that you talk about from Wisconsin. Are you still planning on going ahead with these tariffs? There are some people in your party who have suggested it's not a good idea. And Prime Minister Levine, what's your perspective on tariffs, and what message did you convey to the President from Sweden and from the European Union? Thank you.
Well, the United States has been taken advantage of by other countries, both friendly and not so friendly, for many, many decades. And we have a trade deficit of $800 billion a year. And that's not going to happen with me. We have been mistreated by many, sometimes fairly, but there are really very few instances where that's taken place. And I don't blame the countries. I blame our leadership for allowing it to happen. When I was with President Xi in China, as an example, we lose $500 billion a year on trade. We have a deficit of approximately $500 billion a year with China. And we're doing things with China which are very strong, but they understand it. But I was with him and I said to him in public, I said, look, I'm not blaming you. I blame our people for not doing a better job, for allowing this to happen. But it's like that with many countries other than smaller. The European Union has been particularly tough on the United States. They make it almost impossible for us to do business with them, and yet they send their cars and everything else back into the United States. And they can do whatever they'd like, but if they do that, then we put a big tax of 25% on their cars, and believe me, they won't be doing it very long. The European Union has not treated us well, and it's been a very, very unfair trade situation. I'm here to protect, and one of the reasons I was elected is I'm protecting our workers, I'm protecting our companies, and I'm not going to let that happen. So we're doing tariffs on steel. We cannot lose our steel industry. It's a fraction of what it once was, and we can't lose our aluminum industry, also a fraction of what it once was. And our country's doing well. The massive tax cuts and all of the deregulation has really kicked us into gear. But I have to work on trade deals. We're working on NAFTA right now. And if we're able to make a deal with Canada and Mexico in NAFTA, then there will be no reason to do the tariffs with Canada and Mexico. But again, other countries, we won't have that choice. And unless they can do something for us. As an example, if the European Union takes off some of the horrible barriers that make it impossible for our product to go into there, then we can start talking. Otherwise, we're going to leave it the way it is. So the fact is, we've been mistreated as a country for many years, and it's just not going to happen any longer.
How do you avoid this escalating? How do you avoid this escalating into a trade war?
Well, we'll have to see. You know, when we're behind on every single country, trade wars aren't so bad. Do you understand what I mean by that? When we're down by 30 billion, 40 billion, 60 billion, 100 billion, the trade war hurts them, doesn't hurt us. So we'll see what happens. You know, you can also take it, in some cases, we lose on trade, plus we give them military, where we're subsidizing them tremendously. So not only do we lose on trade, we lose on military. So, and hence we have these massive deficit numbers in our country. We're going to straighten it out, and we'll do it in a very loving way. It'll be a loving, loving way. They'll like us better, and they will respect us much more. Because even they say, right now, they say, we can't believe we've gotten away. I mean, 2 countries have said, we cannot believe, to be honest with you, we've gotten away with this so long. Now, one of them made that statement before I got elected. He said, I can't believe I made that statement before I got elected. But it's one of those things. We have to straighten it out. We really have no choice.
And Mr. Prime Minister, how forceful was your message to the President on what the consequences will be if he goes ahead with tariffs?
First, trade is a European Union mandate, so we're a member of the good solution.
Just to add maybe a little bit further, if you talk China, I've watched where the reporters have been writing 2% of our steel comes from China. Well, that's not right. they transship all through other countries. And you'll see that a country that doesn't even have a steel mill is sending us 3% steel for our country. And many countries are doing it, but it comes from China. So China doesn't send us 2%. They send us a much, much higher level than that. But it's called transshipping. So it doesn't look good when it all comes out of China, so they send it through other countries, and it comes to us. And it's putting our steel mills out of business. Our aluminum mills are going out of business. And we need steel, and we need aluminum. And you know, there's a theory that if a country doesn't have steel, it doesn't have a country. And it's true. So this is more than just pure economics. This is about defense. This is about the country itself. But again, remember this, we lose $800 billion a year in trade. And I think I was elected at least partially on this issue. And I've been saying it for 25 years. Our country's been taken advantage of by everybody. By everybody, almost everybody. And we cannot let that happen any longer. Not for our companies and not, most importantly, for our workers. So we're not going to let it happen. Please.
Okay, Tina, TT News 8.
Okay, folks, before we get to Amanda's segment here at 9:30, Amanda always has a segment at 9:30. Before we get to that, let's go over a couple quick things here. Transshipping. Now, if you actually knew how much steel was dumped into this country from China, it's an amazing amount of steel that gets dumped here. And it's like he said, the media is going to float out that only 2% of our steel comes from China. But we get steel from these countries that don't even have steel mills, don't even have steel, but we receive it from other countries. It's called transshipping. I want to know if you've heard transshipping anywhere else, that other countries ship steel, that China uses other countries to ship steel, okay, so that you don't see how much they're actually dumping into this country, or it's not reported. All right, it's just not going to happen any longer, and we've been mistreated. Won't happen anymore. A trade war. Look, folks, don't get nervous. The guy at the head of this ship, Donald J. Trump, knows what he's talking about. Do not get nervous. They need us. They need the American customer. Still in the world, they need the customer right here, you. So don't get nervous. I promise. And every time you hear, every single time you hear that, every single time that you hear that the Trump, the steel tariffs did not work that George W. Bush put in place in 2002, don't forget the globalists that ran that White House. There's a reason it didn't work. Every day at 9:30 now we have a segment, it's just called Amanda. And I never know, did you tell me to go to 30 seconds in?
Yes, I did. Okay,
so let's welcome Amanda to her segment this morning. And if you've not met him, oh, you had to wave. You want to do it again? I mean, you know, oh my gosh.
We're live here on the 13th floor of the production room.
There's no 13th floor. There's no. I tell you just gave it away. You're not from the city.
Yeah.
Do you realize you go to New York City and you go to the elevator and there's no 13th floor? Did you know that?
Are you talking about the John Cusack movie?
No.
There's 13 floors.
No, there's not.
Why?
They don't put a button. They don't put a button 13.
I've never heard of that.
God, folks. I'm serious. You Google how many New York City buildings.
Why?
Just because I asked. I asked nicely.
No, why? Why is there not a 13th floor?
Yeah, who wants to live on the 13th floor?
That makes no sense. Why?
All right, folks, first of all, we just want to let you know at FetcherNews.com and our production studio, I do not force these people to work on the 13th floor. Okay, if you're worried about them, She's on the 14th or the 12th, but not the 13th.
Okay. And I come in this morning, and he proceeds to tell me that he is the greatest boss.
Is this a tell-all segment? I mean, when we started at 9:30 this segment, I said anything you want to do, but I'm going to have to send a list. You going to have to, huh?
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Take it away, Amanda. What are we talking about this morning?
All right, so I think Monday we talked about Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes.
And we talked about, he ran his mouth and has no knowledge of, Oscar, and that Oscar, the little Oscar award, is actually a man. He also doesn't remember his show, The Man Show, which you stole my thunder on earlier anyway.
I stole thunder?
Yeah, you stole my thunder. Okay, so I wanted
Kiss did a song called God of Thunder for you kids out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jimmy Kimmel wants to come across as he supports feminism, or he is a feminist himself because he wishes he wasn't a man anymore. So I wanted to play a little video about Jimmy Kimmel.
Go to the tape.
Almost every year now, all thanks to the women's suffrage movement. Led by Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony, pioneers in the field of bitching, moaning, and complaining. But after all their struggle and sacrifice, how many women today even know what the word suffrage means? We hit the streets to find out. How long is this going to go on? Ladies, unite against suffrage. End the suffraging now. We're trying to stop the suffrage and the suffrage of women in this country. Sir?
I would be happy to sign.
Thank you very much. You've saved the dolphins. Now let's stop the suffrage. I do this for personal reasons. My mother, two of my aunts, and my sister all suffraged last year.
Tell me what the 19th Amendment is.
The 19th Amendment is very unjust.
Men are going to help us stop
Men
suffrage?
and women
These
to
men
stop
are.
this. I'm not sure about this guy.
What about male suffrage?
No, that's okay. The ignorance is really the big problem with this country.
Ignorance is bliss.
What am I signing?
Free American flags here. Collect them and trade them. Help us end the suffraging and get a merit badge. Maybe one day you won't be pimping those cookies all day, We'd like you to sign this petition to stop women's suffrage. We could get these kids some clothes. It's the young people in America that are going to help change. Whereabouts in Nam are you from?
I'm from Hue.
Hue? You know a guy named Jeff?
I'm totally confused.
We want to stop the suffraging in this country.
Isn't suffrage women's right to vote?
Confidential, yeah.
Pretty confident. So you're trying to stop women's right to vote?
Thank you very much.
We're trying to end thing. They're saying stop women's right to vote.
You two guys look like the ones that are making us suffer.
Well, tell me what it is. You stop. You're making fun of yourself.
There are many causes in the world.
You're absurd. You're a joke. You're both a joke. Goodbye.
And what is it?
And we want to put an end to it, and your signature's going to help us.
I want you to be a little more clear first.
Well, if we could get a signature, we could hurry up and end the suffrage, and we could all go home.
Are you in a relationship with a woman?
Are you coming on to me?
No.
Thanks. Could I get a hug? Thank you.
How come it's a man who's doing this?
Because we
What
care.
happened to the women?
The women are lazy, it turns out. Would you like to help us? Because quite frankly, we'd like to take a little break. If you wouldn't mind walking around with this.
Hello, would you like to sign for the Soma? What's this?
Suffering of women in this country?
Suffrage. See, nobody understands this word. You have to explain the word.
You're right. But
No, this is offensive. Women's
Really?
suffrage is the right for women to vote.
No.
Suffrage gives
That's why I'm
women the
asking
right
them
to
to
vote.
explain and they-
They're making fun of you.
Really?
No,
I'm not a registered voter.
that's all right. Are you an American?
I'm broke.
Stop suffrage now.
Okay. So you've exposed me to that this morning. Can you explain?
I think that Jimmy Kimmel should go back to juggies and trampolines instead of politics.
Juggies and trampolines?
Yep. Hey, he's actually better at it. He's not funny when he's talking politics at all.
Well, I actually, I don't understand why he left the rails with the political thing to begin with Jimmy Kimmel, because, did he not? He does realize we have the video of, the Juggies, right? That was actually the name of the women that he had come out. And, right?
It was ridiculous.
I didn't watch the show.
I hope not.
No, I didn't watch the show. I thought it was... I didn't.
I would really hope not.
Okay. You have anything else there from the 13th floor?
I don't. I'm actually saving my best story of the week for tomorrow.
You're saving your best story of the week for tomorrow?
I am.
So let me just say this before we end your segment. We're going to take a quick commercial. We're going to come back and wrap up the show. Let me just say... this Kimmel guy really bothers you, doesn't he?
He does. He does. If it's not obvious. No, I'll tell you, too. I used to like Jimmy Kimmel pre-Donald Trump because he wasn't so, in your face and political.
So you used to like him pre-Donald Trump?
Yes.
But this guy really gets under your skin now because somehow, someday, you work an anti-Jimmy Kimmel comment into your segment or the show somewhere throughout the day.
Twice this week.
We're going to take a brief break. This is Amanda. Amanda runs the studio in there, and her and Sam, and Amanda's our producer of the show every morning, and she's coming on at 9:30 and doing a segment, and then you hear her from time to time agreeing with me every once in a blue moon, but most of the time correcting me.
Really?
Really, right.
Really?
Why? You'll agree with me every once in a while, not on live air. I mean, you don't tell the folks you agree with me because you don't want people, you don't want to have to admit it.
Yeah.
So, and then you come in this morning and I was telling you how I'm the best boss ever in the world.
You told me you were the best boss
Yes,
ever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a clip straight out of The Office, Michael Scott.
I know.
I'm your host. When we come back, the White House is a perfect place to work. Everybody's trying to get in there. And the Russian, you just cannot have a press conference without talking about the Russian collusion or the manipulation, Russia's manipulating our elections. I'm your host, BKP. We'll be back to wrap up our show right after this.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, brand name merchandise at unbelievably low prices. Furniture, appliances, and electronics. Circuit World is locally owned and operated, serving the tri-state area. Circuit World has highly trained professionals to help. Visit your hometown Circuit World today. 3 locations in Georgia, Ellijay, Blue Ridge, and Blairsville, Franklin, and Murphy, North Carolina. No credit checks, so let Circuit World deliver to you today.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on-site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Medium Pizza Hut pizzas just $5.99 each.
Did they say Pizza Hut?
For $5.99?
Yes, and yes.
Yes. Introducing the deal you want on the pizza you crave. 2 medium pizzas just $5.99 each. No one out pizzas the Hut.
Hey, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. We only have 15 minutes left. I want to wrap up 2 parts of the Trump press conference yesterday, the president's press conference yesterday, because the media won't, so we will. They're probably spending more time talking about what's her name in the Hatch Act. I had her name just a minute ago. Anyhow, here is the president talking yesterday about people wanting to work in the White House. All right, very firm. If you would take the hits, if you would look, there's a report that 91%, I think 91% of all stories or comments relating to the President of the United States in February are negative on the major networks. This guy takes it 7 days a week from the media, and he doesn't flinch. This guy doesn't flinch. Anyone, a lesser man, would have crumbled by now. A White House in chaos. So let's go to the part I have about. You ready with the video? Let's go to this segment. Go ahead.
I really believe they are sincere. I hope they're sincere. We're going to soon find out.
That you would like to see some change in the people around you. Does that include your Attorney General Jeff Sessions or either of your cabinet secretaries?
No, I don't really talk about that. I just said that the White House has tremendous energy. It has tremendous spirit. It is a great place to be working. Many people want every single job. I read where, maybe people don't want to work for Trump, but believe me, everybody wants to work in the White House. They all want a piece of that Oval Office. They want a piece of the West Wing. And not only in terms of it looks great on their resume, it's just a great place to work. It's got tremendous energy. It's tough. I like conflict. I like having 2 people with different points of view, and I certainly have that. And then I make a decision. But I like watching it, I like seeing it, and I think it's the best way to go. I like different points of view. But the White House has a tremendous energy, and we have tremendous talent. Yeah, there'll be people, I'm not going to be specific, but there'll be people that change. They always change. Sometimes they want to go out and do something else, but they all want to be in the White House. So many people want to come in. I have a choice of anybody. I could take any position in the White House, and I'll have a choice of the 10 top people having to do with that position. Everybody wants to be there. And they love this White House because we have energy like rarely before. Okay? Thank you very much.
Last year you criticized the president for drawing between
get the next one set up. The media, President Donald J. Trump will say, he'll just say whatever he wants to say, and he means they will spin his words. I like conflict, and I certainly have that. I like conflict. I like opposing views. I like it. I like 2 views. I like your view. Let's see. I like opposing views. I like conflict. I certainly have that. The top 10 people, any job there, I will have my choice of the top 10 people. We have energy. It's a great place to work. And the media, I will tell you this, a lesser man and I say it like that, would have crumbled, okay, would have crumbled by now in concerning the media's chaos. Now you got this next one. Let's go ahead and go with the next one. This is the Russian question. Let's go with that so before we close the show.
Thank you. This is an election year for both of our countries. And I want to ask you, Mr. Trump, what do you think Sweden should learn from how the Russian influence campaign affected the presidential election in the U.S.?
Well, the Russians had no impact on our votes whatsoever, but certainly there was meddling, and probably there was meddling from other countries and maybe other individuals. And I think you have to be really watching very closely. You don't want your system of votes to be compromised in any way. And we won't allow that to happen. We're doing a very, very deep study, and we're coming out with some, I think, very strong suggestions on the 2018 election. I think we're going to do very well in the 2018 election, although historically those in the White House have a little bit of a dip. But I think we're going to do well because the economy is so good and because we're protecting our job, like our jobs are being protected finally, like with what we're doing with the tariffs. But the big thing would be the tax cut and the regulations cuts. Also the judges. I mean, we have outstanding judges. Judge Gorsuch in the Supreme Court and many, many judges going onto the bench all over the country. So I think we're going to do very well. And I think it'll be a tremendous surprise to people how well it's. The economy is so good. Jobs are so good. Black unemployment, Hispanic unemployment at all-time lows. I mean, we're really doing well. So based on that, I guess we should.
All right, we don't have time to go any further on that, but like I was saying this morning, listen to the question. What should Sweden... Now, they frame these globalists, this is set up. Okay? This is a setup. They frame it. What should Sweden learn about the impact? See, impact is something that's happened. Okay? The impact has a result. If something is impacted, there's a result of that impact. So what should Sweden learn about the impact on the elections from Russia? And Trump said, "What impact? There was no impact. I won. What do they say in the old school? I won fair and square, right? All right." Michael Flynn sent out a message yesterday. Yes, General Flynn. We've said it here every day on the show. General Flynn is selling one of his homes to pay some legal debt, to settle some legal bills, paying one of his selling one of his houses. The stocks fall. Yes. General Michael Flynn selling a house to pay legal bills, and what do we tell you every day? The government will destroy you. Mueller and his group are out to destroy these people financially, their complete lives, destroy them. Dow falls more than 150 points after Gary Cohen's resignation. I know that concerns you driving to work this morning. Doesn't concern me. Okay. Sorry if it, that 150 point drop or whatever may drop throughout the day causes more problems for you financially. Special election in Pennsylvania next week. All right. Between these two candidates, you have the two candidates. I forget their names. It's a picture of two guys there. What's their names? Lamb and Rick. You got their picture. Next Tuesday, nothing happened in Texas last night. Okay, nothing happened significant in the Texas primary. But next week, this special election, which Trump is being accused by Joe Scarborough that the tariffs on steel and aluminum have only been put on to help this Republican candidate in Western Pennsylvania. But Bob Casey Jr., a Democrat, tweeted out his support for what Trump is doing. And also Joe Manchin, Senator of West Virginia, said he's 100% behind the president. But next Tuesday, Democrat Conor Lamb far outpaced Republican Rick Saccone in fundraising during the final quarter. That is next week. Joe Biden has been out there. Trump's going out this weekend. The special election in Pennsylvania could be a gauge. Is it a barometer? It could be something that we need to keep our eye on. Now, I've only got 6 minutes. Tomorrow, I'm very upset over the story I tried to bring earlier, and but this is something I want to end with. Seattle police begin gun confiscation. No laws broken. No warrant. No charges. Okay, this is on the website Zero Hedge. You could find this. This you could find if you Google in several places. A man in Seattle has had his gun confiscated by police after breaking no laws. They took his gun. Okay? The new red flag law, which has taken hold in other states already, allows the courts and the law enforcement to take away guns from individuals that deem are dangerous, and they've been just begun to confiscate. There are local laws now that call this the red flag law, all right, that allows law enforcement to take your guns, no question. This guy was reported, Amanda, to just look strange. Just gave, I guess, maybe, I mean, all jokes aside, hopefully you just don't have the kind of demeanor that you give people the creeps. You know what I mean? Because this is all that happened when you read this story. Nobody is crying Gary Cohn is gone. I'm your host, BKP. I'd like to let me give you just a really quick before we leave. This is qualifying week in Georgia for state and local elections. Go to fetchyournews.com. Okay, go to fetchyournews.com and check on a daily basis. We have an article for every county. You go to the county, click on the county. We provide a button that's called 2018, Election 2018 on your county. You click on that. That is where we file all the stories about the election. For example, Gilmer County or the 7th District of Georgia. If you would like to see House Speaker David Ralston, which is this representative of the 7th District, see his requalifying to run again, his statement, and right next to that's his opponent, Margaret Williamson, that is running against him. Her statement is there. Natalie Kissel did a story on that. So election 2018, there's a button on fetchyournews.com, and we make a commitment to give you all the information on a daily basis. You can keep track of that, and we'll be pushing that. Now, I want to ask your opinion on something, Amanda. I have 3 minutes. I don't need 3 minutes. I'm shutting everything down because I want to focus. And so, now I know you're not into sports, but let me ask you this question because I need to know if I'm wrong on this, okay? If this is really that bad. Now, I announced the Fannin Rebel baseball games, okay? So I go up there and I say next up to bat, the catcher, Fannin Rebels next up to bat, the catcher, number 16, Jack Gobble, coming to the plate, right? That's what I do, okay? All right? And then, top of the lineup for the Rebels, number 2, shortstop, Chandler Kendall, right? I do that, right?
Right.
Now, the opposing team. Now, there's one guy in the booth that I'm not going to mention his name, but there's a guy in the booth with me that does the scorekeeping and does the scoreboard, all right? And I get 2 things out of it. First of all, they are the opposing team, so I usually pick 2 players on each team. And I make sure that throughout the night, I mispronounce their name on the opposing team when they come up to bat, all right? It drives this one guy in the booth crazy. It drives him crazy. It's really sets him off.
That seriously seems like something you would do. That's
right, but I think they're the opposing team. So I'm not understanding what's like last night, maybe I'm wrong, but the kid's name was Kane, right?
Right.
And I kept saying he was pitcher, right? And I kept saying back on the hill, number 7, Cayenne. Right?
That's ridiculous.
Is that mean?
How old are these kids?
They're high school.
Oh, yeah, that's funny then.
Huh?
That's funny.
Like this kid the other night, his name is Adkins. Adkins, right?
Right.
But I'll throw a T in it. Now coming to bat, number 12, Atkins. Is that wrong? I picked 2 kids for the opposing team because they're the opposing team. That's like my part I play.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, the guy in the booth, he gets mad. Are you gonna have a parent come up here one day? I say, yeah, well, whatever. So here's what I do, right? As soon as the game's over, I pile my stuff up, I shoot down the steps, and I go in front of the concession stand, okay? And right in front of the concession stand is where the visiting team leaves. All the fans for the visiting side, they're crossing the concession stand area, right? So I go down there and I stand next to the fence, and I'll say things like, that guy upstairs that calls this game or whatever, I'll pretend like one of the guys that are still left up there is the one that calls the game. Can you see me doing all that?
I can, yeah. That's a total you move.
That's what I do. But somebody said it was mean, but I picked 2 kids from the opposing team. All right? And, the other night I had a kid and his name, I forget what his name was, but I was calling him Gyro. Now at the bat, coming Gyro. That's not his name. Yeah, who cares, man? He's the opposing team. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. I want to invite you, as we close this morning, go to Team FYN Sports Facebook page, and find the video over 1,000 views of last night, Gabe Buchanan with his walk-off winning hit for the Fannin Rebels. Let's go, and we'll try this again tomorrow and see if we can get it right. Until then,